Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason. I'm speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And today I'm doing another movie review from one of my DVDs that I own. And today we are reviewing, or I'm reviewing, and they call it the Apple Dumpling Gang. That's the opening song to this movie, which is called the Apple Dumpling Gang. It is a Disney classic from 1975 and it stars Bill Bixby as Donovan. If you know Bill Bixby, if you ever watch the Incredible Hulk TV show back, I think maybe the 80s, he plays Bruce Banner before he turns into the Hulk and says, "You don't want me to be, you don't want me to be angry. You wouldn't like me to be angry," or something like that. Anyways, and that's Bill Bixby. That's what I mostly know him from, but he plays kind of the main character here in this movie. We got Susan Clark as a love interest, Dusty. Then we got Don Knotts and Tim Conway as Theodore and Amos, kind of comedy team in this movie. We got Slim Pickens. He plays the bad guy, and if you ever seen Slim Pickens, he's in a lot of westerns, old westerns. He's got a real southern accent. He's got a very distinct voice. If you ever hear his voice, he does a lot of voice work in Disney and, like I said, a lot of movies in the Old West. And then also has Harry Morgan, who you might know. He was in a lot of MASH episodes, the TV show, playing the, I don't know if it's Colonel, playing the kind of leader of the MASH unit. Very good character actor. Always enjoy him in anything I see him in. He's a great side character, usually somewhat comedic actor. Usually plays sheriffs and mayors and so forth. Anyway, so that's the main cast in this movie. It's directed by Norman Tokar, who, when I looked him up, he does a lot of Disney movies of this time period. Is basically what he's known for. This probably being, I think, maybe he's well known to me. The most well known movie that he did, and the best movie that I know from him is this movie. So the synopsis of this movie is Bill Bixby's character Donovan. He's a bit of a traveling gambler. They're in California, which of course there's a big gold rush in California, and so there's a lot of little towns that kind of come up, and people go to look for gold. Anyway, so he's in a town where there's a gold mine nearby, and he goes to the saloons and gambles, and he kind of traveling, I think, to San Francisco, I believe, or somewhere. I don't know. He doesn't stay put, I think, very long, and like I said, he's a bachelor, doesn't settle down. That's kind of his character. Anyways, comes to this town. He's gambling in the saloon, and another guy gambles away. He says there's a package coming for him, and he doesn't say what the package is. Donovan wins it. Turns out the package is three kids, which are the guy's two nephews and a niece. So it's three children, and the guy splits. And according to law, Harry Morgan plays the sheriff and the mayor and the barber of the town. He has all these different jobs, and so he's there at the saloon when it happens. And so he says, by law, now Donovan has to take care of these three kids, which I'm not sure that's a real good legal idea, giving a stranger three kids to take care of because of a bet. But it's a comedy, so he gets these three kids. Of course, he doesn't like kids, doesn't want anything to do with these kids. So he's trying to pawn the kids off to other people, but the kids are a bit troublemakers, so nobody wants the kids either. So he's stuck with the kids, and so there's a character named Dusty, who's this kind of tomboyish girl who works for her father, delivering packages and stuff. In fact, she's the one that delivers the three kids to Donovan. And like I said, the kind of comes the love interest, of course, like you always have in these kind of movies. But she's kind of a rough gal. She knows how to shoot a gun, ride a horse. She wears pants, doesn't wear a dress like most women, and stuff like that. So then there's a bit of two characters that don't, kind of fight a lot, of course, like they usually do. Don't really get along at first between Donovan and Dusty. Anyway, so Dusty kind of helps Donovan kind of take care of the kids, of course, because Donovan doesn't know what to do with 3 kids, and so Dusty kind of helps him a little bit with that. Anyway, so then the 3 kids, they go to the gold mine, and they kind of accidentally find this big gold nugget and bring it back. And so then they, of course, they found it, so they are owners of this gold nugget, which is, worth tons of money. So now they're rich, these 3 kids. And so they put the gold nugget into a safe in the bank, basically. And then the uncle comes back wanting to take custody of the 3 kids again, of course, because now they're rich. So now he gets to be rich if he, gets to be the legal guardian again. But he's not really a good guy. So Donovan doesn't, starting to, I guess, like the kids now. He doesn't want to give up the kids to the uncle. And because of the, all the legality, legally he's, in charge of the kids now because of that whole bet. But they decide that he has to get married to keep the kids. So he talks Dusty into marrying him, even though they're not really in love at that point. And Dusty agrees just so she can take care of the kids. And so it goes that way. And then there's another outlaw gang that comes in, led by Slim Pickens, who of course wants to steal the gold nugget in the bank. And so they come in to steal the gold nugget, and then the kids get involved. There's a shootout, chase, and Donovan's going to leave, actually. After he marries, he's going to leave the kids with Dusty, and then he was going to leave. But of course, he becomes attached to the kids and to Dusty and stays around and, tries to rescue the kids from the gang. And through all this movie, I haven't even mentioned the two pretty important characters of Theodore and Amos, played by Don Knotts and Tim Conway. They're kind of these 2 side characters throughout the movie that come in. They're these bumbling idiot thieves, criminals, and they try to rob people, but they always fail. And at the end, they try to go steal the gold nugget also, and of course get involved with the whole shootout that happens. And very funny, 2 very funny characters. And very funny actors that portray them. Anyway, so that's the basic synopsis of the whole movie and what happens. My backstory with this movie is, like I said before, with the absent-minded professor. When I was a kid, we had a lot of these old Disney movies, live-action movies, and animated. And as a kid, I just remember they're VHS tapes, and I just remember when I had free time, I would put these VHS tapes in, maybe on a Saturday or something, and I watched these movies, hundreds of times. Just that's what I did in my free time, just watching old VHS tapes, and I loved the old Disney movies. And this was one movie that was really on a heavy rotation. Like, I watched this lots of times, hundreds of times. I was watching this along with all the other classics. Anyway, so that's why I've always had a lot of nostalgia for this movie. I've always enjoyed this movie. As a kid, of course, I love the westerns. I love shootouts. I love action. And I thought it was a really funny movie, especially, like I said, Don Knotts, Tim Conway, 2 actors I'm going to talk a lot about in this review because they're the best part of this movie. They were always hilarious to me as a kid. I always loved those 2 characters. And I think I probably liked the 3 kids because I was a kid, so I enjoyed that they're going on this adventure throughout the movie, and I enjoyed that aspect. Anyway, so yeah, so it's always a movie I've always enjoyed. So how it holds up today? Well, like I said, as a kid, it was, a very funny movie. I'd say as an adult, I don't laugh as much at it as I did. There's still some pretty funny scenes in it. But the comedy doesn't hit as hard as it used to, which is probably common for a lot of movies like this, or probably more garnered towards kids, the old Disney movies. So in that way, it doesn't make me laugh as much. I find the kids to be annoying as an adult. I think, like I said, as a kid, I liked seeing other kid actors because I think about myself in those roles as going on this great adventure. But as an adult, I just find them to be brats, and that's kind of the way they're supposed to be in the movie. They really are supposed to be brats that nobody likes. And so as an adult, I'm like, yeah, I don't like these kids either. I don't want them around. And in fact, I didn't really care about the kids that much or their storyline or any scenes that they were in. Like, those weren't the scenes that I cared about. So that doesn't really work that well. The love story really doesn't work all that well to me. Like I said, Dusty, the actress Susan Clark is probably an attractive woman, but they kind of portray her as not as an attractive woman because she's kind of this rough girl who doesn't wear dresses and doesn't do girly things, and she's a tomboy, like I said, and so that character is not like an attractive character to me, and I don't really see why Donovan would be attracted to her at all, or want anything to do with her. At the end, and like I said, they kind of butt heads for most of the movie, and then at the end, it's kind of forced that they kind of fall in love, and at the end, they're finally like want to be together. So it was a little forced. I don't think the chemistry worked that well, in my opinion. I think they could have done a little bit better with that love story. Now the best part, like I said, of the movie is Don Knotts and Tim Conway as the two bumbling criminals, Theodore and Amos. They still are enjoyable to watch today. I still get so much joy out of them. I laugh at some of their antics. Two great physical comedians. The physical gags still work, I think, today. And I pretty much just want to watch them two in the movie. Like, anytime they're on screen, I'm more invested in the movie than the other characters, I would say. So those two characters still work very well and provide a lot of the comedy of the movie. And then the ending is, it's a decent shootout chase scene, a lot of action in it. It's a fun part of the movie, I think, and it's a good ending to it. So, saying all that, my favorite scene of the movie, like I said, Theodore and Amos they're trying to, they're scheming to steal the gold nugget in the bank. And so they come up with this plan to get a ladder. I think they have to climb on top of one building, then they have to put the ladder down and climb in between, or walk across the ladder in between buildings, and then come to the bank and try to come from the ceiling to steal the gold nugget. And that's how they're going to get into the bank, is from the ceiling part. And so the first part is they have to go get a ladder, so they go to the fire station to grab a long ladder because they need a big ladder. And so they go and they grab the ladder. And of course, they're at both ends, and it's kind of this Three Stooges gag of a scene where they're trying to get this ladder out. And of course, they're going different directions, and they're yelling at each other. You come this way, you go this way, and they're bumping into things, and they have to like turn the ladder certain ways to try to get it out. And of course, it's really long. And anyways, it's just a really fun physical gag. That's always been my favorite as a kid, and I think still is my favorite part. I still love that part of the movie. And even afterwards, they have to walk across the ladder, which is extremely dangerous. The ladder is very unstable and creaky, and if they fall, they're going to get hurt really badly because they're up high. Anyway, so it's a real fun scene. I think that's my favorite scene in the movie. I'm going to talk about my favorite character. As I've talked about the whole review, I'm going to talk about two favorite characters because they're kind of a comedy duo in this movie. As I said, Don Knotts and Tim Conway. I've been a big fan of Don Knotts since I was a kid. Andy Griffith Show is one of my all-time favorite comedies, sitcoms. And Don Knotts is Barney Fife, Deputy Sheriff, is one of my all-time favorite characters. A really funny character. And Don Knotts is such a great kind of physical comedic actor. He's really good because he has this nervous energy about him. He gets real frustrated, and he's so funny when he gets frustrated. He has great facial expressions. And then Tim Conway, I can't say I've really watched a lot with Tim Conway, except for like when I think of him, I think of this movie. Growing up, I always thought he was hilarious in this movie. I know he was in the Carol Burnett Show, but I didn't really grow up watching the Carol Burnett Show, but I've seen clips of him in the show, and he's very funny from what I've seen of the clips. And I know he's well known for being funny on that show. And I think he did a lot of Disney movies in the 70s, so I think that's what he's known for. But he's very funny in this movie as well. And I just love those two characters have this great comedic chemistry. One of the best comedic chemistries I've seen in a movie, duos. And I love that they're both idiots. They're both morons. They're both bumbling and, and fails all the time. But the Don Knotts character is seen as kind of the smarter one of the two, so, which is always a funny dynamic. Is they're both idiots, but one's a little bit smarter, so he's the one that kind of comes up with the plans, and he's the one that gets frustrated and gets mad at the other, Tim Conway's character. And that's pretty good for Tim Conway to be so dumb that he's the dumb one of the group, and he does a really good job of being real dumb and being real funny. And I just love their dynamic of like Don Knotts is always getting mad and frustrated at Tim Conway's character, and Tim Conway just kind of takes the abuse from Don Knotts' character Theodore, but yet they're best friends. Anyways, it's almost worth watching this movie just to watch these two comedic legends, in my opinion, do what they do best. Now on the DVD, one thing I got this DVD out that I own. One of the funny things, I was looking at it, you see the cover. We have Don Knotts and Tim Conway as the two bumbling thieves, and then we got the three kids there. No picture of Bill Bixby or Susan Clark, who to me is the two main characters of the movie, but I think everybody knew that these are the two stars of the movie. That's why they want to put them on the cover. And I'm sure when they made the movie, or after they made it, it was like, it came back to them that everybody loves those two characters out of the whole movie. They didn't care about Donovan or Dusty, not the kids as much, but they loved those two characters. That was the selling point of this movie. In fact, they make a sequel to this movie called Apple Dumpling Gang Rides Again, and it's only two characters come back, and that's Theodore and Amos. They're the main characters of that movie, and it all revolves around them. Other characters in this movie don't show up, so they kind of knew that if we're gonna make a sequel, it has to be those two characters. That's the only two characters I think anybody cared about, which I find kind of funny, because they're more side characters, comedy relief characters in this movie. In fact, you look at the back of this DVD. It's just scenes of Don Knotts and Tim Conway. All three pictures are just them. No pictures of any of the actors. Not one picture of Bill Bixby, like I said, and Susan Clark throughout the whole thing, or even Harry Morgan, Slim Pickens. Other really good actors are in here. No, it's just those two, because those two everybody knew those are the best characters. Those are the best. That's why you watch this movie. I find that kind of funny. But the DVD itself, it does have special features. The main ones that I liked a lot was there's a looking back at the movie and talking to some of the actors, and especially they do interview Don Knotts and Tim Conway. Of course, they're older at this point, talking about remembering making the movie. But Susan Clark does a lot of interviews in here, and some of the kids, pretty good making of special feature, kind of interviewing everybody that was in it. Also, there's it's called The Conversation with Tim Conway. There's kind of an interview just with Tim Conway, and he kind of talks about how he got in the movie business and his relationship with Disney movies, so it's a fun conversation with Tim Conway. You get to learn a little bit more about him. And then there's an audio commentary on here, a really good one, with Susan Clark, Tim Conway, Don Knotts, and Brad Savage. Brad Savage, I'm guessing, is one of the kids. I forget. But I especially love Tim Conway, Don Knotts, reminiscing about their scenes is really fun. It's a really fun commentary. I recommend watching it, and I love audio commentaries, and so this is a good one to watch with an audio commentary and get a lot more information about the movie. Anyways, so it goes to my grade for this movie. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars, which means it's a light recommend. Like I said, it's not funny enough on its own. I'd say you have to watch it. But I think it's a good family comedy. I think it's a good movie to watch with your family. I think kids would still like it. I think it would still be funny to kids. And so I think I would recommend a family get together and watch it as a family. I think you, as an individual, unless you have, like I said, you like old Disney movies or you have nostalgia like myself, you probably won't find a lot in this movie that way, like I said. But overall, I enjoyed watching it again. Like I said, I still laugh at the Don Knotts, Tim Conway characters and their antics throughout the movie. So I still get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and that's why I still like to give it a recommend. Anyway, so thank you a lot for watching this video and this review. I love going back to these old movies that I watched as a kid, and this was one of my favorites. And so thank you for subscribing to my channel and supporting me. And I love reading the comments, so keep doing that, and take care.